Welcome to Season 3 of the Knack for Business podcast. Over 390 episodes strong, we're here to ignite your entrepreneurial spirit with fresh insights, networking gems, and creative strategies that elevate your game.
Question to the audience. Are you missing hidden profit opportunities in your business because you are trying to do everything on your own? We will explore how smart collaboration can uncover savings, spark growth, and help you reinvest in what matters most. Our guest today, Anthony Markey from I Know a Guy. So Anthony is the driving force behind a business profit advocate. He's spent the last 7 years helping B2B professionals uncover hidden savings and unlock new opportunities for growth. Anthony's passion lies in collaboration, and he thrives on creating win-win partnerships like that helps not just you save money, but also reinvest it back into what matters most, building a stronger, more successful business. Anthony, absolutely pleasure to have you here. Welcome. And do you have a favorite quote or saying you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, Bernie. My favorite quote is always the Zig Ziglar: "You can have everything in life you want if you just help enough people get what they want."
And you have a tagline for your business too. What's that all about?
Transforming hidden costs into business opportunities.
Very nice. So, business profit advocate. So the advocate normally stands for a lawyer. Profit, maybe it's a play on words, where you're looking at the yield of what you do. What made you become this?
So most businesses out there, they're always looking, at cutting costs, finding savings. There's a lot of opportunity out there that people just don't know about. A lot of the small, medium businesses see things like Amazon or big companies, and it's almost a trope at this point. Oh, Amazon doesn't pay taxes, and they think it's just rules for thee and not for me. But a lot of it is just they have the time and effort to hire fleets of lawyers, CPAs that go out and hunt for these savings. So there's things out there that most don't know how to take advantage of. And that's where I come in as a business profit advocate, saying, hey, there's opportunities out there that you're leaving on the table. Do they help your business?
What is a hidden profit?
So there's a few programs that a lot of people don't know about, whether it be in the benefits space, where there's certain wellness programs that can lead to payroll savings for the employer. It can lead to net pay raises for the employees while getting additional benefits. One of the biggest issues for a lot of businesses now is the silent quitting, people not wanting to show up to work. If you don't have something to keep people in place, they're going to go down the road for a nickel pay raise. So being able to lower your costs with employee turnover, save money on payroll taxes by offering these things, a win-win, because your employees are happier, healthier, making more money. You get to save money by doing it and spend less time trying to hire and attract new talent.
What's a collaboration?
There's a few different ways of collaborations. You have your strategic partnerships. For example, I'm very good at certain areas in my zone of brilliance, but I'm kind of awful at everything else. I could spend time and be mediocre at a bunch of different things, but I'd rather partner with the Michael Jordans in their area, be really good in mine. Nobody really likes Michael Jordan for when he played baseball. They like him for that other thing that he did pretty well. So strategic partnership would be finding people like tax attorneys, marketers, finding people that are really great in their area and finding ways to collaborate so that everybody is doing what they're best at without getting bogged down by the rest. The last thing people need to do is, oh, Anthony, can you help me with bookkeeping? If I'm new in business, I might say, yeah, let me figure that out for you, when I should say no, but I know a guy, let me make an introduction.
And if you're watching the podcast on YouTube, you can see your logo. It's IK and then letters AG below it. Is that a design that you came up with, or is that something you had someone help you out with?
No, me and my girlfriend, she's more of the artsy graphic designer, but it was the acronym for I Know a Guy. I talk to a lot of women and I get that question. You say, I know a guy. Do you work with? Yeah. I know a guy it's the Midwest guy. I'm in Iowa. So, hey guys, it's any group of people. So it's IKAG. I know a guy, I know a gal, depends on who I'm talking to. All credit goes to her.
Oh, no, it's a cool design. And watching your backdrop, it says ikag.me. So is that your web address?
Yeah, I tried to find the shortest web address that I could. The last thing I wanted was one that people have to spell. It was just 4 letters, 2 letters.
You didn't want to turn it into a password, did you?
No, preferably not. There's no ampersands anywhere in the thing.
So you talked to a significant other helping you build up the design. That would speak to whether you're intimate with a person or it's a business partnership, right? There's a certain level of intimacy in there. What type of mindset do you have to make that come together? What frame of mind do you have to be in?
Yeah, it goes back to how we started this with my favorite quote being the Zig Ziglar, helping up people get what they want, you get what you want, whether it's karma, the golden rule, reap what you sow, the go-giver, whatever words you want to put to it. We've been defining that concept, the law of reciprocity, since people could talk to one another, right? There's clearly something there. The frame of mind that people in business need, especially after they mature enough, is when I'm talking to somebody, I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm trying to find ways that I might be able to help them, because the universe kind of acts like a giant slot machine, that if you put $1 in it, eventually two come out. So how many dollars do you want to put in it? Me, I'm looting the couch. I'm finding all the spare change. I'm putting it all in there, knowing that I don't know where it's coming from, but it comes back in the end.
We're going to watch a football game or whatever the sporting event is. Here's a couple of pints.
Stephen Covey talked a lot about win-win, another speaker fairly famous. And his was win-win or no deal. How do you make sure that you're not being taken advantage of or taking advantage of someone else?
Yeah, being upfront about what your win is. If you're talking to somebody and like, I have this thing, it's going to help you, and here's why. A question to ask is, okay, what's in it for you? It sounds kind of blunt, straightforward. Everything that I do, I don't do it for free. I wouldn't be able to live otherwise, but I definitely have a win. When you're looking at partnerships and collaborations, knowing what the payoff is for everybody involved leads to better reciprocity. Because if somebody spending a lot of time and a lot of effort doing something and they're not going to have a very big takeaway, you can help that. And then you're going to encourage them, and it might lead to more in the future because you're actually trying to take care of one another. Just being open and saying, okay, well, clearly I'm biased because this is my job. This is what I do. This is what I sell. Understanding that I'm coming from this as a salesman, but I truly do see the benefit for you is here and here.
This is going to be a dating example, not dating as in time, but as in finding a partner of choice. As we are growing up in our teen years and then our 20s, and this can go on at any point in a person's life, you're going to find somebody, you're going to acquaint them, and then one of two things will happen. And it'll get more serious, it gets platonic, or I'm out of here, I'm hitting the eject button. What are the flags from a business perspective when you're in that? It might not be anything negative in the relationship, but it's just not working. To, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? And the red shiny toy is actually dark. Got to get out of here. What are your flags that say, good one? Oh, not so good.
Yeah. The people that are showing up and constantly doing the thing, whether it be a business relationship or in more of the romantic space, if somebody's just kind of phoning it in, it's time to let them know that's not going to do it for me, or you're going to have to go somewhere else. A lot of us find that whether you've had a relationship with a business partner for years, it has gotten to the point where they're not really matching your level of input. I'm prospecting, sending a bunch of referrals over, in crickets. They're taking it for granted. It's the same thing in relationships. I do all this, and then you can get that animosity to build up. And it's best to nip that in the bud and address it right away. That was advice given to me when I first went to college. My dad told me, oh, you're going to be living with a roommate. Be above board if they're doing something to annoy you. Hey, it's kind of bugging me that you're leaving your clothes right in the middle of our 6x6 cell, basically. Can you not do that? Because you address it first before anybody gets all upset and makes it emotional. And that's something that's carried through with all aspects of my life, relationships or business. My cat just fell. That was what that crash was.
We didn't hear it.
Okay. You made it.
The cat is collaborating with you.
It's colliding with everything, though.
One thing I've noticed in networking organizations is I make lifelong promises about all the business I'm going to give them and they're going to give me, and it rarely happens. How do you actually check the metrics to go, okay, yeah, we were at a cocktail party once 8 years ago, let's not do this again?
Yeah, it depends on how you want that relationship to be. There's a couple different ways that I've worked in the past with people, and I'm fine with all three. It depends on the kind of relationship they want. You have your relationships where you introduce me to a client, I'd help them. I'd like to offer you a percentage or a referral fee. And a lot of times they go, nope, that's okay. You do your business, we do our business, everybody wins, and they're happy with that arrangement, right? Those are fairly simple, fairly clean. And like you said, it's just kind of back and forth as it comes along. The second way would be people that, oh, yeah, I would like a percentage. A lot of times that works for a little bit longer because they don't necessarily have to refer back to them because they're getting something naturally by doing it. So there's that reciprocity immediately. And then the third way would just be, hey, I had this cool thing. You might want to hang this hammer on your tool belt as well. And then they take it over. The one that really needs a lot of monitoring is that first one where somebody could feel like you're really taking advantage of them because they keep referring and trying to help, and then there's nothing in return. Those are the ones that really require a lot of hands-on, and then making sure that you are doing something for them, because you have great people out there. It can be as simple as their client is significantly better by knowing you, because then that makes them look like a rock star. Everybody gets a gold star. But not just phoning those in, because the worst thing you can do is get a golden recommendation from somebody and then leave that worse off than when you found them. That's the quickest way to end one of those business relationships.
What is the format? We all know we're all in a bad restaurant and switching paper back and forth. With your business, what's the actual process? What's the math like?
Are you talking about in my benefits side or more like the networking bit?
You tell me.
Okay. So the math on my business side, where I found 99.9% of all my success, is what I call rebounding referrals. 100% of what I do as a business profit advocate is I'm going in, I'm helping a business find more money. Whatever they do with that money, that's up to them. However, if I'm referred by somebody, let's say they're a marketer. Hey, Mr. Business Owner, I'm really happy Wayne introduced us. We saved you $300,000 this year. He's coming in Monday to help you with whatever the cross-sell opportunity would be. He's coming in Monday to talk to you about ad spend or this new program or whatever it is. So before they, get that, oh, I made extra $300,000, I'm gonna go buy a boat. Don't spend the windfall, maybe spend the ROI, because Wayne's gonna help you take that 300,000 and turn it into whatever the potential outcome would be. So there's that immediate, hey, we're helping you. We found all this. Now you're going to put it back into your business. Maybe get the boat if you need to, but maybe a trim level down. On the networking side, getting that balance to where, okay, I'm going to help you here. You're going to help me here, and then do the thing. If you say you're going to do it, do it.
What's the paperwork between the he said, she said? What do you like to see on paper?
I don't really do a lot of the paperwork. A lot of people, they'll have something. I'll just emulate what they have. The last thing I want to do is try and reinvent the wheel with what I do. I work around whatever is working for somebody else. I reciprocate. If somebody says, this is how I've worked before, this is what works for me, great. I can manage that. If I come in and I start trying to reinvent everything, I'm not worth their time, because now they have to spend all this time and effort to figure out how to spit me into their stuff when they already have a system in place. I'm happy to conform to work with them.
From an insurance coverage point of view, if you partner with somebody, I'm not talking about working a table at a convention or something like that, but in a longer space, deeply ingrained, like supply chain, for example. If I make an automotive component, I need to make sure that buddy sends me the tires. Otherwise, it's on blocks. From an insurance perspective, do you get the special caveats, or is just you cover UBU and theirs covers them, and the liability starts and stops at a certain point?
With what I do, there's licensing required, right? So if we're talking about any kind of commission, people have to conform to that. That's not my rule. I give people an option. We can work out a small referral where I'll send you $100 gift card for Amazon. Then it's clean. Hey, here you go. I appreciate the commission. But if we're talking percentages, there has to be that. Otherwise, that puts my license at risk. It prevents that from being something that's going to go on forever. So if we're talking about that component, they have to at least meet me part way. But a lot of that's simple. Most folks you talk to are never going to be lifelong collaborators with you. It's a smaller percentage. So a lot of those are worked out individually.
You said something interesting, a license. Which government level is licensing you to do what? Out of curiosity, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So when I'm talking group benefits for whether it's stuff, then you're talking insurance license, and a lot of that's just state level. You need to get if you live in Iowa, for example, you need to get your Iowa license.
I thought from the networking side that you were getting a license. Insurance, accounting, legal, everybody has a license, and it's not a plate made in your local institution or penitentiary. That's really cool to hear. What type of tech stack do you capitalize on to make everything come together? Like, what are the tools you use? We're using Zoom now, right? So, or you might have another platform. What do you use to make the networking piece come together?
Yeah. So there's a couple things I've used in the past, and I've simplified it with what I'm doing with the networking and the podcasting. It's a lot. If you go after all the shiny objects, you'll have 15 different pieces of tech. I was trying to simplify it, keep it simple. What I've landed on and what works best for me is Riverside. The reason is it allows me to do all the recording that I need. If I just want to meet somebody, instead of also paying for Zoom, I send them the Riverside link. They can land there. We can have a conversation. It also allows me to do all the editing that I need. It allows me to cut clips and all the pieces out, and then I can use that and repurpose that and share that and do all the stuff with that. Other than that, I don't use too much tech. I'll use like ChatGPT to help formulate like intros and questions, where somebody sends you a book. when you ask for a short bio and you end up with 17 pages. It's like, okay, I'm not going to go through all that to find the 2-sentence intro I need. I'm going to drop it in and say, make this 2 sentences. Finding a platform that fits your needs, fits your purposes, and matches what you're wanting to do as far as your process goes. Mine's fairly simple.
What is the low-hanging fruit that in the first half an hour can save them some serious money where they didn't even know?
Yeah, well, it depends on the size of the company. If they're over 100, they have fiduciary responsibility to make sure that they're offering the best products to their employees and lowest costs. So we're going in, we're checking out their PBMs, their pharmaceutical spend. That's one area where a lot of them are spending way too much money. We're finding anywhere between 15 and 35% savings immediately. If it's a group of under 100, we might be talking about implementing a wellness program that I alluded to earlier that has the payroll tax savings portion. Depending on who they use for the payroll provider, it might be something as quick and easy where we're hard coded in the system and it's just a plug and play. There's all sorts of stuff we can go in and find immediately. It depends on what they're structured at, what they're looking for, what they already offer, and how we're able to help them.
So when you onboard a new person, how do they know? Like, it's a partnership of sorts, right? I'm not talking about the employee benefit side, but even the networking piece. Some people will talk to someone and go, oh, that's kind of cool. And then off, right? You take us into a hardware store. I'm sure we'll find things, well, oh, that look handy, like a manly tool. And it sits in the garage afterwards for us. How do you help somebody avoid the trap of going all over the map and just going in? I think you're the first step for the networking piece, but how do you avoid them going, oh, that's nice? And then they're all over the map and no depth.
So when I'm conducting an interview, I let them know upfront, we're looking for this much time. The last thing you want to do is spend this much time when nobody's going to listen to it. I'm trying to be fairly succinct because 99 times out of 100, if you're having a conversation with somebody, within the first 15 minutes, you know whether or not you're ever going to talk to them again. If somebody comes off as, nah, we're good. Anything over 15 minutes, it's just kind of a waste of air. I'm trying to keep things succinct and hit the things that people care about in the first meeting. The last thing I want to do is have like a bookkeeper on and then start talking about QuickBooks. I want to know who they are, what they do, what they love about what they do, and what sets them apart from everybody else. It doesn't matter what you're doing. There's a million other people doing the exact same thing or something close enough not to matter. So in their own voice, hearing why you is the most important question. The whole podcast and everything that I do can be boiled down to one question, right? Letting them know ahead of time. We're not trying to put on a masterclass. We're not trying to do some sort of seminar. What makes you different and better than somebody else? There's a menu of options out there. If you go to a restaurant, they have 1,000 options. You're going to pick one thing, right? What makes that stand out?
Because it tastes good. One hope.
Something that I find really bizarre about networking is that when you vouch for someone, if you vouch for someone and they break, how do you cautiously vouch for something and follow it up so that your name has been protected when things happen?
Yeah, I'm not the kind of person to refer somebody after just meeting them. The steps that I take are, we have a conversation. If you come into that conversation, you pitch slap me, we're not going to talk again. Thank you for your time, but you let me know not to talk to you anymore. I used to get upset when you'd go into a one-on-one and the first thing they do is tell you, oh, I don't care what you have to say. I'm here to sell you something. I used to get upset about that, but anymore, I'm like, thank you for letting me know that this is the last time we're talking. So you let them know right away. It's not something to surprise you later. I have a process where if I'm meeting somebody, the first thing isn't going to be getting married. We're not going to introduce you to my biggest client day one. I'm going to introduce you to people that I know, people that I think might be other good power partners to feel you out, and they get their feedback and I hear from them, oh, you know what? I don't think I like his product. Because there's been times when I was like, no, this seems like a pretty cool, all right guy. And I send him to meet somebody else. And like, oh, he's actually blacklisted on this and this. I'm like, oh, okay, well, glad I did that. So yeah, just playing it safe, vetting.
When you're looking to find savings and you talk about reinvesting into the back end of the business, what do you define reinvestment as? In my mind, whether it's capital assets, training, if you have a staff, et cetera, where do you see the reinvestment going within a business?
Yeah, it depends on the introduction. If I'm introduced to a business and I'm saving them money, the reinvestment I'm talking about would be whatever that marketer can do to help them. If it's a business coach, whatever they're able to do to help them. If it's a life insurance agent, maybe they're talking about financial literacy. Maybe they're talking about retirement planning. Maybe they're talking about buy-sell agreements. It's really case dependent. Most times that I've went out, prospected, and nurtured that relationship, I'm the gentleman they bring in to say, They have something I have that they need. They can't quite afford it right now, or money's tight. How can you help them? I go in, we go, okay, we saved you this much money. That product you said you needed 5 minutes ago, you now have the money to put toward it. So reinvest it can mean anything that's a net positive for their business, whether it be marketing, whether it be buying additional staff, whether it be something as simple as, update. I've had examples in the past where we helped them save money, and the person that introduced me updated everything. They went from using pagers to iPhones, right? It could be positive for the business.
I think training will follow right after that because the page they can't just press the button and know the number, right? Do you help them when you're doing that reinvestment? Do you ask them, say, listen, you just saved $1,000 a month. Where do you think you want to be best placing that money next, or portions of those funds, or build up a reserve fund? Do you help them walk through that, or do you get another partner to come in and say, listen, I'm an accountant and this is kind of like, or something along that vein? There's another expert to help them along the path with wise choices, as opposed to, oh, look, there's a shiny object. It's a squirrel, then the squirrel's only good for that moment in time.
If I'm introduced to a business and I'm helping as a favor, then I'm reintroducing it back. It's called a rebounding referral. But if it's something that I prospected and I can see they need help with something else, I know a guy. I'm not going to try and wear all hats. I can help in a bunch of different areas, but I'm going to be mediocre at best. I'm really good at my one area, but I have a group of people that I collaborate with that are much better suited to help in that. So I'm introducing them to people that are going to be able to best fit their needs. So if there's somebody on, I could really use help with retirement planning. It's like, great, we found all this extra money. That's going to help. Let me make an introduction. With the podcast and everything that I'm doing, here's 3 people that I interviewed. Let me know which one you want to meet, and then they can vet for themselves.
I have heard in networking, some people believe the sun rises and sets on affiliate programs. I've heard some people that are anti-affiliate program. Where will you come down on affiliates, and how do you do the math and make sure that it works if you do?
Yeah, the answer is yes. There's some people that I have an affiliate relationship with where it makes sense for me to work with them. But then there's other ones out there. It seems like a lot of people offer it, and I'd rather abstain from hopping into any one of those because I'd rather work with the mass instead of that one person. If there's 30 people that offer XYZ program, they're going to try and recruit you. It happens every time. I know what you're doing is beneficial. I have zero patience and zero time to focus on being good at this. I'd rather refer to you or do rebounding referrals like I talked about, and then the 29 other people that I know that do something similar, because now I'm able to focus on my part. I also have some sort of referral arrangement or affiliate with a couple other different products, but those are very in line with what I'm doing. So it's not a stretch. It's something that makes sense because it's something maybe that I'm already paying for. For example, with Riverside, I offer that as an affiliate because I can offer that, even though I'm not a video expert, I'm not a tech expert at all, but it's something that I use on a day-to-day basis. If somebody goes, hey, how do I use this? I'll help you through it because it's something that I use. But if it's, hey, we have this other program and I pay you %, I'm good. I'd rather work with you and not under you.
In your network space, do you use e-cards to cross-connect people? Here's an electronic business card, and it has a QR code and a link, like a mini link tree. Do you offer that as a service?
Yeah, I use an e-card. It's way more valuable than a physical card, in my opinion, because if I give you a physical card, there's a good chance you'll never look at it again. I just handed you a piece of paper, it disappears, right? Right, it's gone. However, if I have an e-card, and again, I don't sell this or anything like that, I don't even know anybody that does, but I just use it in this fashion. If I'm talking to somebody, I'm like, hey, you know what, I'd like to reach out. They go, do you have a card? I do. It's a virtual card. Give me your number. I'll text it to you. Because then what they do is they give you their phone number, which then goes in my phone, and I have the ability to follow up. If I just gave you my card, I may never hear from you again. But if I have your number in my phone and I text it to you, then I have the ability to follow up. Because a lot of people aren't great at following up, and I don't like to rely solely on somebody else, where now I have your number, you have mine. If I type it in wrong and you don't get my thing, I'll say, okay, I'm gonna send you a text, shoot one back to me. Right? Yeah, it's like an old dating thing when you ask for a girl's number and you text her right away. If she doesn't respond back, it's a fake number, right? So using it that way, your success rate of actually making a connection goes way up.
Do you see some future trends that are changing in networking that are coming up on the horizon?
Yeah, I think from my experience, we're actually reverting back to a more organic way of networking. If you Go 50 years in the past. You had your town square where somebody goes, hey, do you know a good lawyer? You walk out in front of your shop and you go, that's my lawyer, that's my banker, that's my baker, that's my HVAC guy, that's my whatever. And that was traditional. And then the internet comes along and now everybody, they're renting Lamborghinis to film in front of them saying, hey, if you want to get a Lamborghini too, just buy my course. And it's, really skinny tower of one person all the way up. But what I think we're doing now is we're having a kind of blend. We're going back to the more traditional where you're growing your circle. If you look at BNI, they're giving you a network of people that are going to advocate for you and your business when you're not even there. That's incredibly valuable. The problem is you don't get to pick that group of people. You may like everybody in your BNI group, but let's say you really don't like that realtor, and that's the only realtor you're supposed to do business with. That's close, but it misses the mark a little bit. Whereas what I'm seeing now is people are growing that circle of power partners and strategic alliances where every person there is somebody that they vetted, they trust, they worked with in the past, and they can actually advocate for 100% of the time. Because if somebody burns you, you should be able to cut that out and replace it. I think reverting back to a more traditional networking.
What are some points that you think makes a good networking relationship or give us your keys to the Swiss Army knife of good networking?
Happy relationships.
People that ask engaging questions, ask how they can help you. One thing I've noticed is when you're networking, you have a bell curve. You're going to remember two types of people. On the far left side are people that come in and pitch slap you. They're there to sell you. You're going to remember them because you're never going to want to talk to them again. So if you end up in another meeting with them, you're immediately put off going, been here, not going to do that. Then you have a lot of people in the middle where you kind of remember them. You're like, I thought you did something with XYZ company. You had a dog, right? Everybody remembers the pet that jumps into the screen barking in the background, but that's all you're really going to remember. And then you're going to have people on the very other side, the people that you're going to remember forever, but for the right reasons. Those are the ones that when you first meet them, go, how can I help you? If they genuinely mean it, that person is somebody you're going to want to help again in the future. Out of everybody you've met, they're the only people you're actually going to refer stuff to. They're the only people you're actually going to follow up with and build a relationship with because they're doing it the right way. If you want to have strong relationships, if you want to network the right way, emulate that group of people where you're solely there to help them in whatever fashion. You don't have to send them a check or anything, but what can I do to help you out? A lot of times they'll give you something vague. Oh, well, if you know any businesses that could use my services, be more specific. You need to say, I'm really looking for a middle-aged left-handed ball player, a stay-at-home mom. They're the people that I bet, because I can think of that person. I can't think of, well, if you just know somebody that I could help, let me know. If you can be specific and say, what I'm really looking for is this. They're going to help you with that, and then you're going to want to reciprocate. So be that person.
So we're on Zoom, which arguably goes to the world. And then there's your town, your state, possibly your country. What geography do you like to work in the most? And how do we reach you?
Yeah, I like all areas. I can only help companies in the US with a minimum of 25 full-time employees. I can't help everybody. On my networking side, I can talk to anybody and everybody that's an entrepreneur not selling snake oil, right? Happy to help in whatever fashion I can. If you're the kind of person that says, I make this potion in my basement that cures cancer, good luck, right? I'm sorry. I like working in all capacities. I like working in person. I'm a board member of my Chamber of Commerce. After this, I'm going to an event we're setting up, volunteering for the Chamber of Commerce. We're having live music tonight. I also like talking with people in different countries and finding ways to work together. I like working with people across the United States. If people want to get a hold of me, the best way is the website, just ikag.me, or you can email me at admin@ikag.me.
What's the name of your podcast?
I know a guy, IKAG.
And are you found on all the major platforms?
The best way to find all of those is at my website. You can sign up for the newsletter. It goes out once a day, has a 2-minute bio about the person I interviewed, and a list of all the podcast links where you can listen.
I want to say thank you to Anthony Markey, my co-host, Mr. Wayne Pratt, and you, the Knack for Business listeners, because you know what? We know a guy now, and he's around. So one client saved thousands of dollars simply by rethinking their vendor relationships, money they reinvested into marketing. That's leveraging how to have a win. Reach out to Anthony. It's not about cutting costs, but also what you're saving and where you can leverage that funding back into your business, whether it's long-term or you need to fix something.
To reach the podcast hosts, email them at info@creativeinsight.com or by the website creativeinsight.com, spelled KREATIVINSIH.com. To reach Wayne, add his email wayne@motive8u.ca, that is MOTIVE, the numeral 8 and the letter u.ca, or his website, motivateu.ca. If you would like to be a guest on this podcast and share your knowledge, let us know. We would also appreciate your feedback on the content or format. Check the show notes for more details. For these podcasts, we like to acknowledge the support and thanks to the following people: Carl Richards from Podcast Solutions Made Simple, a renowned podcast expert; Fred Crouch, who is the Property Wizard podcaster, where Bernie is a co-host; Jovan Strika from At Hive, a co-working space that is more than just a space; then Melanie Weber, Bernie's invaluable business partner; and Wayne Pratt from Motive 8U Inc., who serves as both a coach and co-host of these podcasts. Disclaimer: please note that the Knack for Business podcast episodes are meant solely for educational and general informational purposes. The information and opinions contained within are not intended to be professional advice on any subject matter. The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed by the participants are their own personal beliefs and do not represent the views of the podcast hosts or any affiliated organizations. It is important to note that this podcast is not a replacement for consulting with certified experts in your area who possess knowledge of your unique situation. The hosts of the podcast, along with any participants or affiliated groups, do not take responsibility for any actions taken or not taken based on the information presented in this episode. It is highly recommended that individuals seek guidance from their own personal advisors in fields such as accounting, law, or other pertinent areas prior to undertaking any actions or making decisions that may impact their financial, legal, or other aspects of life.